All right, welcome to Titan Talks. I'm Sam from Topline Pro, and today we're talking to Aden from Aden's Lawn Maintenance in Old Lyme, Connecticut. Aden's running a successful business while also pursuing his business degree, which is a really interesting perspective that I'm eager to hear more about. Aden, thanks for joining today.
Of course, yeah, happy to be here. Just happy to kind of get to know my audience and kind of share perspective on kind of learning from those in the industry, and I hope I'll be able to kind of help some people out.
Absolutely, I can't wait. I do see the Aden's Lawn Maintenance, branded, whatever it's called, like hanging up in the back of on the back
Flag,
wall
yeah.
there. So you're already got the branding, representing, and you're in Rhode Island at school right now, right?
Right, yeah, I'm at Bryant right now. I'm halfway through almost my MBA here. So you're excited to graduate and I guess be more on the home front with the team, but it's kind of a unique here with business in Connecticut and then school here. So it's back and forth when crew members need help and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, before we even get started with questions, can you say a little bit more about achieving that balance?
Sure. Yeah. So I started the company back in like 2019, 2020 when I was around 15. One of my neighbors who lives on my road growing up was like, I need my lawn mowed. We kind of live like half a mile from like a beach community, like right near the water. So a lot of those residents aren't there full like all year round and stuff like that. So they usually are only summer there and then live at the other house either in New York or Florida and stuff like that. So a lot of the residents don't really have someone to mow their lawn when they're not home. So one of the neighbors was like, "Hey, can you mow my lawn? $25, like right down the street." And I mean, I was like super eager to kind of just be like, "Let's get it." Like I can buy a bunch of stuff at the candy store or something like that. And ended up mowing him and then the neighbors, and it just kind of took off from there. So it's definitely been a journey with trying to keep all of the clients in a dense route, but starting off it was more of an inbound lead from me for someone reaching out to me and being like, "Hey, I need your kid to come and mow my lawn." So it's kind of funny in that sense.
So when did it really take that step from being something you were doing for candy store money, as you put it, to a real business?
Right. So I mean, I eventually kind of did it with one of my friends who had the equipment to kind of get the stuff going and stuff like that. So we ended up able to take more properties across town, and then 16 available to like drive, have a license and stuff like that. So that was kind of the turning point. I guess in the early days, I really just had like my mom driving me around to like free lawns with the mower in the trunk of the Prius and stuff like that. So it's super, it was like humbling, but I also like saw the vision. I was like, wait, so 25 a week, three properties, that's 75 a week. I can make hundreds of dollars doing this. And I mean, 15-year-old self was like, this is better than like bussing tables or something like that. So it's like, this is going to be fun.
So was there a moment when you sort of realized not just like, this is enough money, for me right now, but this could be my future. This could be what I sort of end up doing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think once I got into like the bigger properties, so I was like 16 and able to kind of drive farther and take on bigger properties, we were able to quote $150 a lawn, and it would only take less than an hour. And I was like, all right, if I get 100 of these properties and we can do 100 of those in a week, could be making like a lot of money from that. So I think I just like obviously didn't have the revenue coming in then, but saw the vision of the compounding effect if I got those prime leads that were like my like prime customers that I wanted, and I got enough of those, then I would be all right. So I kind of just saw the vision after getting that one like $100 lawn, and I was like, wait, this is good money.
And what made you decide to pursue, your degree?
I think it was more kind of learning more about like the business. I didn't want to just do the lawns full time because I felt like I wouldn't be applying my academics enough. Just because if that business failed, I'd have nothing. So it was more or less like, let me put myself in two spots. I'll be able to do the white collar school while also being able to do the blue collar on the weekends. So that's what I did all of undergrad. I was commuting home, running like a 2-man operation, free when we needed help, and then just doing all the work from Friday through Sunday because I had Friday classes off. So, and then when that got too much, I was then like, all right, I have to hire full-time employees so I can focus more on my academics and stuff like that. But I really just wanted to like put myself in two kind of career paths to where I would be able to make out in either one, I guess, and not need to lose in one.
So currently you have jobs going full time Monday through Sunday, but
Monday through
you're in
Friday.
classes
I mean,
Monday through
Saturday. Yeah.
Okay. But you're in classes during most of the week, and then do you travel back on Saturday?
Yeah. So I don't currently travel home on the weekends anymore, usually every like 3 weeks. I'm not like in the field starting August of this year. So I have this whole ball where I have all my crew members that are doing all the work. So that's kind of exciting for me, but also stressful and time intensive with writing down all the details, being the middleman for communicating with the clients, invoicing and quoting. It's still like a big task for me for sure, but I'm been handling it remotely for the past couple months now, and it's been working great. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that sounds like a tremendous amount of work, even when you're not actually mowing the lawns. What tools or technologies help you do that, especially remotely?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I signed up for Topline Pro last October over at a Quick Expo. Funny, I could say Topline Pro found me because one of the people at Topline Pro was like, guess how many Starbursts are in the jar? And it was more or less like I wasn't at that conference for software per se. I was there on like an equipment venture, just exploratory like networking event to just kind of learn about more people in the lawn landscape industry. So when I learned about Topline Pro, I was able to kind of be like, wow, like this is an affordable price for a product that would help me. However, I'm not in the market for it, but got the free sample website, saw all the details, and was like, wow, even though like I don't need any more jobs this year, I'm still gonna use it to keep myself more organized because I was just running off of Google Sheets, Excels, and like Word documents I had no CRM or anything to kind of keep myself organized. It was more or less just like all in shambles there, but somehow made it work for the longest time. So
Wow,
definitely
yeah.
the systems with having everything in one spot was with Topline has been huge just for organizational.
So
Yeah.
you had like enough jobs coming in last year, and did you already have a website as well?
Did not. No website or Google business profile. Or I had a Google business profile, but it wasn't verified or something. Yeah.
Okay, but the organizational component of Topline Pro was enough of a draw for you to sign up, especially after seeing the website as well.
Correct.
How did business change, or how did your running of the business change after you signed up?
Right. I mean, I think my biggest problem was obviously a couple years ago when I was just doing like everything, doing all the jobs in the field with minimal 1 to 2 hands of help. And then going home and then sending out those quotes that we had to do that day and then responding to those quotes and scheduling them. I think it was more or less just like, all right, now I'll be reminded on all the property details, what the customer's wanting, and I can just input that all into this instead of inputting into a calendar and then trying to remember just more or less organizational was a huge struggle for me. But then after seeing what Topline had to offer for just like that end of things, and then kind of put my professional branding on a website was enough for me to say, okay, this will be worth it for me for the time being. And I'm excited to kind of see how this will help my business.
And now that you're you're in classes, I imagine that you're thinking about growing your business. And I'm curious if the marketing that Topline Pro has given you has changed the business at all, given that you had plenty of jobs coming in beforehand. Like, has it transformed in any way?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I've definitely got a larger influx of more jobs from the platform. And I think getting a super optimized Google business profile and the website and all the SEO services that Topline has to offer has definitely helped bring me in like more jobs for sure. And it's also, now that I have more guys that are willing to complete the jobs, I'm able to take on more and more. So it's definitely been helpful for not just growing like small scale for like just one crew, but now having a second crew this coming spring. So we're able to take on basically double the amount of jobs. So it's definitely been helpful for that.
Has it been, how has it been for you moving from mowing lawns to essentially managing, a team of employees?
Yeah. I mean, I think kind of just like, I have my two core guys that are full time right now this fall. And then they have a network that we're scouting for our next crew lead for next spring, because we're going to have a project crew of two guys with a third when it's a bigger project, and then two guys on the mowing crew. So I think just like compensating your guys super well and setting expectations high, and then them feeling appreciative of extra compensation come extra performance will definitely be rewarding for both the business and them, which will keep team members motivated to get stuff done for sure.
What besides, good compensation and good performance, are there sort of core aspects of your business that you try to instill in all of the employees?
Yeah, our crew lead basically is trained to talk to all the clients if one of them comes out and asks about a question or a modification to a service. So making sure that they're able to communicate effectively in that way. And then also from my end, having super fast communication to the clients when they have an email or a text message on a modification of a job is also super important. It might just sound simple, like replying to a text or an email within 24 hours, but a lot of companies leave those for weeks. And it just kind of feeds on the professionalism if you're quick at responding and prompt it when you say you're going to show up, and just show up then for jobs like that. So really just trying to stick to the schedule, fast response time, and then like asking questions to the client, even if you're the slightest bit unsure, just to make sure you guys are on the same page throughout the whole process is definitely important.
The basis of any relationship.
Yeah. Right.
I imagine having some name recognition in town is good for you too. Like, are there a lot of clients who were like early adopters who are like, oh, Aden, I know him. Like,
yeah, definitely like the neighbors in the beach communities, because they're all kind of friends. A lot of like beach cottages, they have just probably 1,000-square-foot lawns that take like 5 minutes, but you have like the big truck rig with the wrap trailer and truck that just roll down the street. So everyone's like, oh, like, let me get a quote and then take a picture. And so we've been, I guess, having pretty good brand recognition through the neighbors, just because we have pretty small route density with the areas we service, which is really the only way to make money in this industry, because if you're driving, you're not making money, you're losing money. So yeah, we've definitely had a lot of neighbors leave reviews and give good feedback and tell their neighbors about our service, so we can serve more people in the neighborhood for sure.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. So the ideal sort of situation for you running, a lawn maintenance company is to have like the whole neighborhood be all Aiden's customers, right?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, makes more sense for us. We're also able to like offer a cheaper price if it's like an HOA community, even if it's like a non like paying HOA community, if they're all like separate parcels and they each pay individually, we can offer like a discount if there's 5 on 1 road that all want to like sign up or something like that. So um, just because we're already there doing another property on that street. So we'll be able to give them a discount in that perspective.
Got it. That's why my neighbor's landscaping company keeps dropping flyers at my front door. That makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah.
So looking towards the future, you're in business school for a reason. You clearly see like a future for your company. What do you think the company might look like in 5 years?
So I'm trying to keep operations like small still. I think keeping like employee size and team size core to probably 6 to 8 members would be a sweet spot for me. Right now we're at 2 full-time. Next year we'll be at 4 full-time. And then I guess the year after that would probably be 6 full-time with a third crew. But I think 2 people per crew, highly educated on the job, whether it's a lawn or a project, is kind of a sweet spot for us. But yeah, I'd say keeping operations still relatively small with like 6 to 8 crew members and 3 trucks. Yeah. But kind of just focusing on like our core services and like what we offer and not trying to get our overhead too high. Just because I've seen other companies that have gone from full scale maintenance to full scale project and cutting out their maintenance division to then getting out of project and then going half and half into maintenance and project, just because the profit margins and errors are just like all over the place for different projects and stuff like that. So it's kind of hard to play your cards right. But also it's different for every like business and area, depending on like what service you want to offer. So we found easy services like mowing, mulching, river rock installation, shrub trimming, seeding projects and stuff like that are relatively easy to kind of teach to crew members. So if we have jobs like that and we don't have to worry about an excavator digging into a gas line and then an insurance claim, I mean, that's a good day in my book if we can avoid that.
Got it. So, what's the sort of breakdown of like project versus maintenance services that you're doing now?
Sure. Yeah. So right now we're doing a lot of invasive clearing. We're like by the water on the shoreline, so you have a lot of invasives that come in and grow from the water into people's yards and stuff like that. And then we're also doing like brush clearing and stuff right now. And then in about a week and a half, we start fall cleanups, which go until December 20th.
Got it.
Yeah.
What's your least favorite invasive that you have to remove?
I mean, I'm trying to. There's like so many. Like actually, like some. I don't even know where it comes from. I think it's more or less just like organisms that are like living in the water, and then there's just like a crazy amount of invasives that just grow. But yeah, it's a lot.
It's a constant task.
Yeah.
On the personal end of things, what motivates you to keep learning and growing?
I think probably for, I guess, my sake, it's like I want to make sure my guys are busy. So I'll be like pushing out, I guess, just like lining up jobs weeks in advance for making sure. So I'll have a peace of mind that, all right, they're going to get a 45 hour paycheck and we're going to have the work for them. And this is lined up for these weeks. keeping my peace of mind with, all right, my guys are compensated. And then for me, it's more or less like, all right, I'll have revenue coming in, and I guess I'm like already in this school program, so I'm just like keep doing it type of thing. It's more or less just like routine at this point. And I guess it's fun to just continuously learn for me. Yeah.
So, looking back on your experience, what advice would you give, with the experience that you've had to people who might be in the same position trying to start their own business?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'd say for lawn landscape business owners or kind of just people that want to get into, I guess, a trade like that. I'd say just keep it super core to good communication and just like the simple stuff, because it'll pay off in the long run, because you'll blow 50, if not 80% of the competition out of the water if you just return the call. It's kind of, I mean, it seems kind of cliche or just like not like real, but it is, because a lot of these businesses just like don't respond to incoming leads, and then they just lost the lead. So if you want to be busy, just respond to your incoming customers as soon as possible.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it is cliche, and I don't think that that points to like a carelessness on the part of business owners. I think it speaks to how hard it is, to how much time it takes to run a business, especially for, sole proprietors who are out doing the work most of the day, and then either, you come home at night, or, in
Right.
between jobs or something, and you're doing all of the administrative work.
Right.
So I think that, what would you say to someone who is at the point where in their business that you were, I guess, where you weren't really looking for software, you were getting enough jobs, you felt like you were doing pretty well. What advice would you have for them?
Yeah. I mean, gotta be ready to put in the extra hours when you get back from work, and it'll save you, because I know like painting companies and I guess seasonal companies or landscaping companies that I guess don't really have those jobs coming in year round in high demand. Probably want work in the winter, or want to, I guess, line up their schedule. And I know when I was in that position, I guess come the spring rush, and you're like, all right, like life's good. Like we have so many jobs, I can't take any more jobs. Like I don't want to pay for software. And then 2 months go by, you're like, I have 4 guys on payroll and I have 0 jobs. I mean, it's like, there's kind of a disconnect there. So you just got to like realize that you're like, hey, I'm going to line myself up for, I guess, securing those future jobs and putting in that extra hour after work or after dinner. If you're kind of a solo proprietor type of position, but you just got to be ready for it, I guess. You got to know that it's coming, and you're going to have to put in those extra hours. And if you don't, it's probably going to hurt you. So yeah.
It sounds like your whole the sort of theme of your business goals are all around the stability, the sustainability, having, being booked out so that you know what's coming, thinking about the margins, keeping the size exactly right, so that you're making profit. Is that a strategy that you were already aiming at before school, or is this something that has come from the education that you're receiving?
I don't know. I think before school, or before and during school, like for undergrad, I was just kind of like mentality of like, all right, like freshman, sophomore year, I was like, all right, let's just get all the jobs done, like type of thing on the weekends. And I didn't really have the mentality of like, let me hire trained crew people to get the jobs done during the week so I don't have to stress and I can enjoy my undergrad. So I kind of had a shift in mentality in kind of there finishing out undergrad and my last senior year there, where I was like, wait, we have too many jobs now that me and just two other guys can't handle. I need to figure out how I'm going to make this work. And then, so it was more or less just like shifting perspective through doing, I guess, by building slowly. It was just like, all right, I have to prioritize me being focusing on the school, growing the business, and doing the work. I gotta like cut one out type of thing. So it was more or less just like for me to like for this to be sustainable and growing, then I need to change something. So I kind of had that realization after I burned myself out in that way. So
Other than I mean, burning yourself out seems like such a common mistake for people who are in that transition phase. Can you speak to another mistake that you learned from in your experience?
sure. Yeah, so I mean, the first mistake being not hiring people sooner
Mhm.
that are full time. Second mistake I'd say is probably when probably say like quoting too low on some jobs, worried that I'm not going to get the quote accepted. Um, Maybe it's a slow part of the month or something like that, and I'm like, we really need this work, or we could use this work because we don't have a job booked out for next week or something like that. So I guess during the slow seasons, it doesn't mean you give discounts. So I kind of, I guess, fell into that a little bit, not offering like a crazy discount, but I guess I just was in the vulnerable position of being like, okay, I'm going to discount this quote by 10% because we really do need the job. And I think that would be the best price, even though it would probably be hurting me by discounting that quote. But hard to say. Just know your worth, I guess.
So,
Yeah.
like a somewhat vibe influenced quoting process rather than like sticking to your logic and
Yeah.
your
Right.
algorithm.
Yeah. Stick to your guns. Like just put out the price and it's good. Don't think twice.
Got
Don't
it.
like if it's like a client you think that it's gonna, I guess just trust your instinct with this is what we're worth, put out the price, and then if they don't accept it, it's fine. Something good will come down the road.
Yeah, I think that's really valuable advice. Like in lawn care and in life, trust your instincts, know your worth. And what's the worst that can happen, right? The
Hope gets denied.
homeowner
Yeah.
will say
Found someone
that's too
else.
much,
Yeah.
right? And I guess you have to know ahead of time, if they're going to negotiate or something, like what you're willing to go down to. I mean, the price that you're quoting is really like the value of the job to you. So
Right.
you can't discount yourself ahead of time, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'd say also like for business owners to just create a pricing model. I mean, I know it's kind of difficult because every job's different, but get your, I guess, price you're going to pay for your payroll, and then get your profit margin price that you need to make on the job, materials, and then add another 10% for fluctuation on time it's going to take to complete, to kind of save yourself because you never know.
I guess transitioning towards sort of like a wrap up, like your story strikes me as one that is both very common, a 15-year-old mowing lawns in the neighborhood, the business starts to grow, but also very unique. You turned that into a real successful business, and now you're even, solidifying it further by, furthering your own education and bringing that back to the business. What do you think? What do you think allowed you to be sort of like the one that really made it work, that differentiates you from other stories?
I don't know. I think I just had I guess the clarity and the vision on like where I wanted the business to be, and just put in all my time into it for a couple of years, and then being like, all right, if this doesn't work, I don't know what I'm doing, type of thing. Just like telling yourself that helped me. But I guess just keeping the vision alive, and if you don't see the vision, you got to change something. So if you don't believe in yourself,
all in.
then yeah. But I was like all in with, all right, I got to pass all my classes and make the business do good.
Yeah, multitasking sounds like a must-have in your position for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we hang up, you have 1 minute to promote yourself, your business. What do you want to say to the audience?
I don't know. I guess just like everyone's just gotta stay disciplined with their business, for all you business owners out there, and for people watching that are aspiring business owners. I guess just be ready to put in the work if you want to start a lawn, landscape, electrical, painting company, and somewhere in the home service business industry. Because if you're not willing to put in the 60-hour work weeks, then you got to pick a different job. So
All right. I like it. Be disciplined, be all in, be ready to work. That's the advice from Aden from Aden's Lawn Maintenance, Old Lyme, Connecticut. Thank you so much for coming on the episode for the podcast. And yeah, we'll talk more later, perhaps.
Awesome. Thank you.